welcome to the channel. So in this video I'm going to be making pizza dough. Now the one thing I think I can make quite well are pizza ovens, the actual pizza ovens themselves, which you can see behind me. Been making those for a number of years. Developed a process over that time, which I think is quite successful. Lost count of how many pizza ovens I've actually made. I can actually cook in those pizza ovens really well. All different foodstuffs, not just pizzas. The one thing I'm really struggling with, and have been for quite some time, is actually making a really decent professional style pizza dough. So with this, the Malat YouTube cookery channel, most of the recipes on there have been recipes that I've learnt from professional chefs. So help out with my wife's spice blends business, which is the Malat. Go out and see different restaurants, Indian, Chinese, pub restaurants and cafes. Learn from the people that are actually making those recipes every day, and just come back onto the channel and literally just repeat what I've been told. I'm an amateur cook, not a professional chef, so I don't have the knowledge base or the skills in order to adapt those recipes. So what you see mainly on the Malat YouTube channel are recipes that I'm just regurgitating, if you like, word for word from professional chefs. With the number of Italian restaurants that Malat sell to, not one of them, there are only a few, but not one of them actually makes their own pizza dough. They buy it in. So this is where I'm struggling. I haven't got a professional chef where I can actually see the process through from start to finish. So I've been looking at a number of YouTube channels. Vito Lacapelli is the main YouTube channel that I go on. I've managed to work out a really basic pizza dough from that channel, which I'm fairly good at, but I want to develop those skills further. Obviously try and produce a professional style pizza dough product. Look, I've been looking at Vito's Polish recipe, so that's using a pre-fermented dough in the pizza dough making process. I'm really struggling with that. So this video really isn't an instructional video, it's more of a an ask for help. So the footage I'm going to put into this video, I was going to delete that because the pizza didn't really, it turned out okay, but it was nowhere near as good as I can get from a basic pizza dough recipe, and nowhere near where I want to be. But I thought I'd save that footage, put it into this video, because the YouTube community is a two-way thing. So I've been putting videos on there, instructional videos, what I've learned from professional chefs. This is my turn, if you like, to ask for help. So I want you to have a look at the video, have a look at the process. I'll put a link in the description below to Vito Lacapelli's website, maybe to the actual video that I'm trying to learn from. If you could see where I'm going wrong, ideas that you've got, what your experience of how you've developed a pizza dough recipe, feed that back in the comments below this video. I will be very, very appreciative. I am determined to get a decent pizza dough recipe over the next few weeks. What I'll do at the end of this video is, because I've already filmed the process and it didn't go well, so what I'll do at the end of the video is I'll just go through where I think I've gone wrong, and then obviously I'll read the very helpful constructive comments below the video and learn from that what you guys think I've done wrong, or whether I should scrap this particular recipe and just go for one that you've been using. As usual, a full list of ingredients will be given at the end of the video for the pizza dough that I'm going to make in this video. But let's have a look at those ingredients now, and anything else we're going to need for today. So let's deal with the ingredients for the Polish first. So I've got 300 millilitres of plain cold water, 300 grams of bread flour. So this is flour with a protein content of about 12.5 grams per 100 grams, or 12.5%. 1 tablespoon of honey, and 1 7-gram sachet of dried yeast. So the first thing to do is we put in our tablespoon of honey, And just mix that in. Then our 7-gram sachet of dried yeast, and again just mix that in. So make sure that the container that you use is an airtight container. And then let's start to add in that flour. About half to begin with. And the other half. And just mix that in thoroughly. Okay, so this is what we end up with. A really slack dough. Try and get as many lumps out as you possibly can. Next thing we're going to do, cover this with the lid. Leave this now at room temperature for an hour, then into the fridge overnight. Right, so this is the poolish that we did last night. Now ready to make the pizza dough. So I've got the poolish, 1.25 kilos of bread flour, so a nice strong flour, 700 millilitres of water, and 25 grams of salt. This actual recipe says use 40 grams of salt, but that's just too much for me. But you can use 40 grams if you like. So the poolish, probably should have used a bigger container. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is get our poolish. Let me move these out of the way. Place our poolish into the water. And spend a couple of minutes just dissolving that poolish in the water. Okay, so next we want to do is to start adding the flour, and we just want to put about half the flour in to begin with. And just mix all that in. So I'm using a spatula for this. I just find it a lot easier than a spoon. Now I want to add in the salt. And again, just mix all that in. Then the rest of the flour. Okay, we just want to carry on mixing this until we get a nice dough. Okay, so once we've got the dough all mixed together, a little bit of flour, all I'm going to do is just push so fold the dough together, push it out, fold it together, and just keep doing that until the dough becomes nice and smooth. Okay, so once the dough comes together, it's still a little bit tacky. So what I'm going to do now is just leave it on this board to rest for about 15 minutes. I'll just use the bowl just to cover that over. So our dough's been rested for about 15 minutes. First thing to do, I'm going to take our dough ball. I've placed a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of this bowl, and we're going to leave this now covered, room temperature, for about half an hour. So now that our dough's ready, next thing to do is I want to divide this now into 8 equal portions. Okay, so I've divided the dough balls into 8 equal portions, or as near as I can guess. Place them onto a tray, lightly floured tray, with some space in between. The Vito Lacapelli's YouTube channel, he shows you exactly how to separate the dough and shape it. I don't want to show you that. I'm still learning. Doing okay, but I've got a long way to go. Next thing I want to do is just to put some olive oil onto the top of each one of these dough balls, and the reason for that is to stop the cling film from sticking to the dough. I'm getting a little bit generous with the olive oil now, because I have had a couple of instances in the past where even though I've put olive oil on the top, the cling film has still stuck to the dough. So next thing I'm going to do is cover this entire tray with cling film or food wrap, place in a warm place in the house for about an hour. The pizza oven, so that was started about 15 minutes ago. So that's now doing really well, and this will time perfectly with the dough. So once the dough is ready, we can make the pizzas. The pizza oven will be up to temperature, and we can start cooking. So let's see what these pizzas are like. Again, there's no point in filming the shaping of the dough, nowhere near good enough to be showing that, but everything is in obviously the YouTube channel I'll put a link to. So there you go. It didn't turn out as well as I expected. I think the pizza dough itself was too dry. Now I know in Vito's recipe he actually says you can use all-purpose flour or bread flour, which is what I used instead of 00, but I don't know whether the quantities of water to flour are the same for 00 as they are for a strong bread flour. I think that was the main area that went wrong. Obviously technique needs to improve massively. I can't shape pizza dough very well either. I'll be looking at that to improve that side of it as well. But as I said at the start of the video, any constructive criticism or point me in the right direction of where I need to look for decent recipes, that will be very much appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel, and as usual, if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching.